Maharashtra loan waiver that the state government has in fact now announced. Sanjay Jha, the Congress spokesperson, joining us on the phone line. Mr. Jha, thanks for being so patient. What's your reaction? Earlier, the Chief Minister had said that this announcement would come by the 31st of October, but he seems to have preponed it.
Well, let me tell you that, when in the last couple of a month ago, when the Congress party and I think also the NCP and other opposition parties actually had begun to, engage with the rural community, and we made our protest, the Bharatiya Janata Party leadership in Maharashtra trivialized it. They said it's nothing but, an innocuous protest. The farmers actually don't believe in it. It has only got a political complexion. Now, what you're witnessing today, frankly, is a manifestation of a government in Maharashtra that has been out of sync with the reality at the ground level. What has happened today is that at the end of the day, this government, under tremendous pressure from the rural community, from the opposition parties, has recognized that it has not been able to do anything at all to alleviate the miseries of the farming community. You'll also recognize that in Maharashtra, both Vidarbha and Marathwada have been highly susceptible to monsoons. They have had huge rates of farmer suicide, and Maharashtra actually has been a classic failure in terms of the way one has not been able to evolve a method or a certain strategy to improve the livelihoods and essentially the lives of the farming community. So what is happening today is that even this farm waiver, which I believe has been announced by the Chief Minister, at best can be considered as a one-off stopgap ad hoc measure. Because the larger problems for the farming community, Amitabh, is more requiring structural reforms. One is not saying that this government is entirely to blame everything for it. Some of them are a little complex and historical. But the truth is that this government has not cared for the farming community. It has been essentially an anti-farmer government. It has made a lot of noise for the corporate sector. It has talked a lot about, helping the middlemen and the traders. But across the countryside, if you link Maharashtra to Madhya Pradesh, to the Tamil Nadu farmers who were protesting in Delhi, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh, even Haryana for that matter, you will discover that, end of day, the central and the state government have not been able to recognize the challenge on the ground. It is basically, in my opinion, an act of political arrogance. That you go to the rural areas and you ask for votes. Mr. Narendra Modi in the 2014 campaign made a promise to the farming community across India that he will give them a minimum support price plus 50% as guaranteed or recommended by the Swaminathan Commission report. They reneged on that promise. Mr. Modi's government has gone to the Supreme Court with an affidavit saying that is not possible. Now, that is nothing but a betrayal of a promise you made to the farming community. I think today they are being hit by that reality and the chickens are coming home to roost.
Congress spokesperson Sanjay Jha, the government both at the union and the centre are saying that what did Congress do for 50 years when it was in power? Well, Saurav Gupta joining us for more on that. Saurav, do we have any details about this loan waiver scheme?
Well, from what we know earlier, that the Chief Minister had claimed that he would announce Maharashtra's largest loan waiver soon. He seems to have announced a loan waiver and that seems to be what has led to the farmers' body, at least one of the farmers' bodies that has been at the forefront of these protests, the Swabhimani Shetkari Sangathan led by Raju Shetty, who even led a march to Mumbai, calling off or putting off the agitation till such time that the government actually delivered its promise, but also warning that if these promises were not met, then they would always have the option of going back to an agitation. Now, this is something that was also being discussed for the long time now, given the fact that Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis had said that he would set up a committee. The details of that committee seem to be said have come through, and earlier there was a proposition that at least about 30,000 crores was going to be the amount the government would have to spend to at least service a part of those loan waivers that farmers were demanding. Farmers were demanding a complete across-the-board loan waiver. The government had said that wouldn't be possible, but then they were discussing in a committee, and perhaps what now has come through is this 30,000 crore amount, which now has been announced as far as initial reports suggest. And Also the fact that the government will have to bear the burden of all of this, given the fact that the RBI has already warned that, when going down this path of announcing farm loan waivers, the governments should tread carefully. Also, one more thing to note is that the centre has made it very clear that it has nothing to do with these loan waivers, and these will have to be funded completely by the states. And Maharashtra, as a state which has a huge debt, this will be an added burden, which is why perhaps the Chief Minister was initially against the idea of a loan waiver, but focusing on other things like yielding crop productivity, increasing crop productivity and other things. But it seems that the farmers seem to have had their way to some extent at least, and they are putting off their agitation given that Maharashtra has announced a loan waiver.